Welcome to Chaos Makes Magic, a podcast for feminine reclamation, where our messiness is our muse and we embrace the multidimensionality of the feminine experience. Hi guys, welcome back to Chaos Makes Magic. I am so excited, as always, per usual, to get this episode out to you guys. I have been pondering on this topic for a minute and I'm excited to share some news at the end with you. But we are going to be chatting all about self-love through the lens of feminine reclamation. So oftentimes, when we think about self-love, we think about like bubble baths and face masks and like those self-care type things, or buying ourselves flowers. And there's not anything wrong with those things. Those are all beautiful. Like, I'm all for a pampering moment, but true bone deep self-love comes from reclaiming your wholeness. It comes from reclaiming all the different aspects of yourself that you have shoved down and shamed. Because if we are shoving those pieces of ourselves down, if we are shaming parts of ourselves, then we are not in that wholeness and we are not in like full self-love for ourselves. True self-love doesn't come from trying to change yourself or mold yourself into something new or to change yourself into something that would be desirable. It literally comes from accepting all of you, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and just really falling in love with those pieces of yourself and like giving those pieces of yourself love. Because again, when we don't, it just keeps us out of our wholeness and out of that full self-love and deep reverence. Okay, before we get into it, please like, share, subscribe, all of the things. It really does mean a lot to me if you guys could comment on this episode, let me know it resonated, even sharing it to your story, and of course subscribing, that way you don't miss any new episodes. So for the past, I don't know, year or so, maybe a little bit longer, I might have talked about this before in a previous episode, I honestly can't remember, but I feel like it's a hot topic for me. But I have been on this journey of moving away from healing and more so into returning or becoming, because I got really stuck in this narrative of healing and like feeling like I was something to fix, and feeling like if I just healed this aspect of myself, or if I just fix this aspect of myself, then I would be worthy of what I want, or maybe that thing that I was manifesting would finally come in, because there truly is such a narrative out there around this. And yeah, I don't really agree with that anymore, because we're always healing. Like, I do believe in healing. We are always healing parts of ourselves, and more so we are just like growing and expanding and learning. And so I guess it's more so the lens of healing that has changed for me. But I really like this idea of becoming or returning, and I think both, like, they're both a little bit different, but I think both beautiful. But like returning to my wholeness and returning to all of the parts of myself that I have shamed and shoved down and like have felt embarrassed for or insecure about, or even with becoming, just like really learning and leaning into becoming the woman that I want to be. And this isn't from a space of trying to become something for somebody else or become something because that version of me would be worthy. It's more so just becoming that version of me because it feels fucking good. I am really excited, but as of recently, honestly, the last couple of weeks, I would say, I really feel like I have landed in some way and just have really embodied that like delicious, juicy, feminine energy that is so available to all of us. And I really do believe that a lot of it has come from this work around feminine reclamation and really truly loving and accepting myself. And it just feels so good, you guys. It feels so good. And again, like this is the energy that we can all access as women. And like, this is that like true, juicy, yummy, delicious feminine energy. And it's so good. What really has changed things for me is coming into my body and going into my womb, working with my womb, allowing my womb to guide me. I will preach this until the day that I die, you guys. Your womb is so powerful and so potent, and awakening to my womb has completely changed and shifted my life. Like, it is crazy. I say this all the time. And working with my cycle has been a big aspect of this as well. And I'll kind of go into detail about each of these. But yeah, and then also, especially with the lens of feminine reclamation, working with feminine archetypes and goddess archetypes has been really powerful for me to really learn about the multidimensionality of the feminine and all of these different aspects of the feminine, and recognizing characteristics in each different archetype that I hold within myself. And some of them, a lot of them actually have been shamed. And especially if we think about dark goddess archetypes and different feminine archetypes, like the crone archetype, the like old wise woman, of course that has been shamed in society. And like the hag, like the old witch lady in the forest, that honestly we all probably want to be that. But societally that has been shamed. And so connecting with these different archetypes has helped me to recognize the power in those characteristics and actually see that they are so beautiful and powerful and potent, and that I should be embodying them rather than listening to our society that has made us feel wrong for that. Working with my cycle has really helped on this journey of feminine reclamation and self-love as well, like that true, like not even self-love, like reverence for myself. And same with working with my womb. Once you really tap into the magic of your female body, it is pure magic. You start to just develop such a deep reverence for yourself. Like if you think about a woman, and if you are a woman who has given birth, that is the ultimate thing. So cool, so beautiful, and just so much reverence for the fact that your body did that. And I think just carrying that reverence, especially if you are somebody who hasn't given birth, I haven't, so I have not experienced that. I'm excited to one day. But working with my cycle and my womb just in my everyday has helped me to develop a deeper reverence for my body, and especially with our cycle too, and just how intuitive it is. Like there are so many deeper spiritual aspects of our menstrual cycle to tap into. And once you do that, you really do recognize that power. And I think too, another thing is like, of course, we're taught as women to just push through and to continue to go at the same pace every single day. And we're so deeply conditioned to do that. But when you start to honor your cycle and work with your cycle, you see the power in each phase. And then that helps you to just like love yourself more deeply and just be more gentle with yourself in those phases that don't feel so good, like our luteal phase and menstrual phase. And especially if you struggle in your luteal phase, which I'm going to have an episode about this soon, so stay tuned, you guys. I've had a few requests and I'm really excited. I'm going to be in my luteal phase next week. Now I'm on day 16 of my cycle, so I'm entering my early luteal, but I'll be in my late luteal next week. So I think I'm going to do it then. That way I can get it to you guys like while I'm in the action. But I don't even know where I was going with all of this now. I think with our luteal and menstrual phases, like just seeing again the fact that just because we aren't productive, or just because we aren't like these like bright, shiny little beings during our luteal and menstrual phases, doesn't mean that we aren't powerful, and doesn't mean that we shouldn't love ourselves through that. So all of this work has really led me on this path of feminine reclamation, which is truly just reclaiming all of those aspects of ourselves that have been lost or shoved down or dimmed or shamed. And again, it really does kind of tie into this theme of working with the dark feminine aspects of our being, which we're still on. But I'm also, guys, I'm getting my pink back. Like I have been doing a lot with Persephone, Hecate, and Lilith, which I'm excited to get more into Lilith, but I've been feeling Aphrodite lately, and like the pink and just like the yummy like pleasure and play and beauty and all of the things. I literally have my pretty little flowers here for you guys. But anyways, feminine reclamation, really reclaiming those lost aspects of yourself. And it is those parts of ourselves that we've been taught or conditioned to feel shame for, or to shove down, or to dim down, when in reality, like, they're powerful. We need them and we should love them. And like, literally, you guys, every single one of us has things that we don't love about ourselves, that like we feel insecure about. And the key to that is to stop shaming them and to sit with them and pour love into them. And yeah, I'm really excited for my announcement at the end. We'll actually get more into that topic then. So we're going to chat about what feminine reclamation really is, like getting into the nitty-gritty of it, and then what it looks like in real life and the systemic piece of it. So, of course, our society and like how that has influenced us. And then also why this is a missing piece in deepening into more self-love and reverence. So especially if you are somebody who has just like really struggled to fully love and accept yourself for who you are, or even if you've struggled to express yourself authentically, to express yourself as who you are, if you find yourself like hiding behind masks or changing or molding yourself into somebody that you think would be accepted or somebody that you think would be loved, this episode is for you. So as I mentioned, feminine reclamation is reclaiming those lost aspects of ourselves. And it really is a return to our wholeness, and like remembering what has been buried and shamed and shoved down so deeply that like we don't let it out because we feel shame for it. And it's really choosing wholeness over being palatable. And so it goes into some of that good girl conditioning too, of just like, and again, back to the dark feminine, like truly just being you, being all of you, and being in your wholeness and your fullness, and allowing that to shine and loving yourself through it. It's really a deep dive into just all of the imprints and conditioning that has been placed on women. And of course, we carry this from our own life experiences. I explain this all the time, you guys, but we'll explain it as many times as we need. But we carry it from our own life experiences and just our upbringing, like what happened in our home life. But we also hold on to this from our maternal line, especially our moms, our grandmas, great grandmas, so on, and everything that they were conditioned to shove down and hide away, which honestly was a lot. And I just feel really grateful to be a woman in this time in history. And it's tough because we're seeing a lot of crumbling in our systems right now. And this is because more and more women are coming into their power and really waking up to this power that lives within us. And there's a lot of just trying to control women. This has been a theme for thousands of years. But I just feel really grateful to be in a position where I can be all of me, where I can like be this whole version of myself, where I don't have to be palatable, where I don't have to live a life that somebody else like has laid out for me. And I get to just be me, and I get to be loved for that. And yeah, it's fun. Feminine reclamation isn't about self-improvement, and it's not about fixing anything. It truly, again, is about getting to know, like on a very intimate, deep level, all of these parts of ourselves. And when we do that, we are able to tap into that part and like provide it with love, and to just listen to that part of ourselves and see, what does it need? Does it want to be expressed in some sort of way? Does it just need love poured into it? Truly, we are not trying to fix or rid ourselves of anything. And that kind of takes me back to what I mentioned at the beginning with healing, is sometimes there is this narrative of like, okay, well, I need to heal and fix and get rid of this so that I can then be worthy, so that I can be loved, so that I can get what I desire. And that's just not the case, you guys. Feminine reclamation really is like becoming the most embodied version of yourself. And this really goes into just being the most like authentic and unique version of yourself, and like really just expressing all of those little pockets within you that you shove down. And I'm even just thinking about like working with your inner child and how there were probably, I guarantee for all of us listening, like our inner child has so many different parts of themselves that they just want to let out and express. And we were all shamed for that when we were younger. We were told that it was weird or not acceptable or whatever the story is. And it is just this journey of embodying all pieces of yourself, not just embodying the pieces that you think are acceptable and palatable or that you were taught were acceptable and palatable. So again, it is this journey too of actually, oh my God, this is kind of coming through right now. Of course, we know that it can be so triggering for some people when you were so deep in your self-love and so deep in like reverence and adoration to yourself. And this is because it is mirroring back to people that they're not allowing themselves to be fully expressed. Like they are literally just watering themselves down and only expressing the parts of themselves that they think would be accepted. And so that's why it's so triggering. But of course, it's easier said than done, because when we start to express these parts of ourselves, when we start to really like unearth them and allow them to come to the surface, it brings up a lot of fears. It brings up fears of abandonment, because it's like, okay, if I express this part of myself, like, is this person still gonna love me? Or, like, are my friends still gonna like me? That's a really big thing too. And especially tangent here, but with business and like starting your own business, that was a really, really big thing for me, is my fears around fully expressing myself and then seeing how my friendships would shift. And there definitely have been shifts, and that's okay. Like there's no hard feelings in that, but it is something that you just kind of have to work with and trust that as long as you are tending to yourself and as long as you are doing what is true to you, you are always going to have like the right people around you and all of the love and support that you need. And just trusting and knowing that like when certain things go, it makes room for new to come in, which is exciting. It's not always the easiest process though, so I don't want to like undermine that, but it is empowering in some ways. There's also just fears around being judged if you speak up or if you share your magic or your light or whatever it is. And especially if we come back to self-love and like really loving and adoring yourself, there's a lot of limiting beliefs and things that come up and a lot of discomfort that comes up when we acknowledge that. Like if I acknowledge that I do love myself so much, like I truly do, and I do adore myself. But me a year ago, 2 years ago, I would be so scared to say that, you guys, because I would be like, oh, like people are going to think that I'm conceited or full of myself or whatever, like all those fears of judgment that come up. And of course, there's that conditioning, which we'll get more into in the systemic aspect, but there's that conditioning in women of like, you shouldn't love yourself. Like you shouldn't be full of yourself. You shouldn't adore yourself. It's funny because I actually looked up self-adoration on Google and the AI response was saying that it's like borderline narcissistic. And I was like, come on. Like, no, it is not, you guys. You should adore yourself. You're a fucking goddess. And so there are so many different aspects of yourself that you can reclaim. And this truly is a lifelong journey, and it shouldn't be anything that you're forcing. It really should come from curiosity and just exploration. And it's going to look different in every different chapter of your life. And it's going to look different woman to woman. Of course, so many of us share many of the same like themes and wounds and things like that. But we also all have our own unique story, and we have our unique story in our lineage as well that impacts us. But it really can look like reclaiming your emotions, reclaiming your desires, your body even. That's a really big one too. It's just like reclaiming your body and every aspect of it and just like pouring so much love into your body. That is something too that really shifted for me with my womb awakening journey. Is I used to be the most insecure bitch. Like I truly was. And I always knew like, yeah, I'm beautiful and like knew that, but I didn't really embody that. But of course, again, there are so many things about ourselves that like we are going to feel insecure about. But I used to be like really insecure, and I would just do so many things to my body to try to like make it more acceptable or like make people, men specifically, want me. And on my womb awakening journey, and I think that I can give some credit to my fiance as well because he has poured so much love into me. But I also have had to go on my own journey of pouring love into myself and learning how to love myself. And yeah, working with my womb and my cycle really helped me to just develop that deep reverence for my body and just love all of it and love it in every stage, every phase, all of the things. I used to always like be so hell bent on having a flat tummy and like just the societal pressures around that. And then on my womb awakening journey, I literally didn't know this until I started to work with my womb and the fact that like our womb is our belly. And like that's why women have a belly. And like we should love that and be proud of that. And yeah, there's a lot that I could go into there, but I want to emphasize that you should love your body exactly how it is. And like every body is a body of a goddess, like truly, you guys. And also, if we look at goddesses, and this isn't to shame any body type, I think every single body type is fucking beautiful, but like goddesses had hips, they had bellies, and having that aspect of yourself too and your belly, like that is just such a, I don't know, it's beautiful. It's your womb and it's magical, you guys. Also, reclaiming your truth and your boundaries, even when it disrupts others. And so this goes into that aspect of being palatable. And I think especially reclaiming your, I mean, both of these are so important, your truth and your boundaries. And with boundaries, like we as women are taught to not have boundaries and to give to everybody else before ourselves and to pour into everybody else until we're depleted and then we can't pour into ourselves. And so this journey of feminine reclamation really is reclaiming those boundaries and having those and making sure that you have the capacity to pour into you so that you can give more to the world. Because we as women, we love to give. Like we love to give and we love to nurture and just like be there for people. That is something that is so fulfilling to women. But we need to tend to ourselves before we can do that. And so we need to have those boundaries. And when you have stronger boundaries, I don't know exactly how this works, but I can testify. I have had much stronger boundaries in the last couple of years of my life, and they continue to get stronger and stronger as I just like embody myself more. But that has also helped me to love myself more and to have more reverence for myself because I'm like, damn, I have a backbone. And like, that's good. Like, that's needed. And that again is that dark feminine, dark goddess aspect of ourselves of like, yeah, we're meant to have boundaries. We are meant to speak up. Like, when we feel like we're meant to speak up, we are meant to stand up for ourselves. And when you do that, you really like build that up within yourselves. You like build up that foundation. So what I've learned with all of this, of course, I keep referencing my womb awakening journey. I will never not because you guys, it is magical. But all of this like shame and conditioning and just all of that heaviness of not loving ourselves or not adoring ourselves and just like feeling shame around it and just all of the societal conditioning, everything, all of the stuff from our ancestors. This all lives within our womb. Like we truly do, we know this. Our womb holds all of that. It holds all that heaviness, the majority of our trauma and wounding and imprinting. And shame is such a dense, heavy emotion. And its home is in the womb. And so our womb is the seat of creation. It is the seat of our intuition, our life force energy, our creative energy, our sexual energy, all one. But when we are holding on to so much of that like shame and unworthiness within our womb, it essentially just like clouds that space. And then we're not able to access that energy fully. We are not able to fully access our intuition or our creative energy or like the pleasure, especially what I was speaking to at the beginning of the episode and just being in this feminine energy that feels so fucking magical and juicy, you guys. Like that has come from me really just peeling back the layers. And it's not from a place of fixing. It's from a place of just being curious and exploring and sending love into that space, not making myself think that it's something that I need to get rid of or fix. And we just can't like fully create or manifest or just really embody that version of ourselves that has the beautiful life that we dream of unless we are working with our womb and sending love into that space and sending love to all of these little tiny imprints that live in the cells and waters of our womb. And once you start to do that, truly everything shifts, you guys. And it's a process. And that's another thing I want to touch on is I feel like I think it's getting better now, but I feel like there's been such a narrative in this space of like, okay, like you just like do this healing and it's going to solve all of your problems. And it's like, yeah, it's probably going to like help things for sure, but this is a lifelong journey, you guys. And like once you're on it, you're committed to it. Like there's no going back. And I know you guys know that. And so that's why we just need to be gentle with ourselves and not be strict about it and take the pressure off too, and just live our lives and allow our expansion to just be organic almost, and our healing to be organic rather than being like, okay, I want this specific thing. And so I need to heal all of these things in me. I need to fix all of these things in me. Like, no, that's not how we're supposed to live life, you guys. It's supposed to be fun and playful. And like, yes, there are difficult moments. There are times where we are dealing with really heavy things, and that is okay. But don't like force it, if that makes sense. Like truly take the pressure off. Alrighty, you guys, what does feminine reclamation look like IRL? I wrote down some examples from my own life and experience. I've like touched on a couple of things, of course, but one of the biggest things that I really realized on this womb awakening journey is how many times I said yes when I really meant no. This is a big one, you guys. Really, when you are aware of this, it's like, holy shit. I just cannot emphasize or stress how important it is to truly follow what your body is saying. Of course, there are moments in life where it's like, yeah, we really don't want to do this, but I have to. That's fine. That's fine. Whatever, that happens. What I mean by this, so I guess one big example for myself and in my journey is the fact that there were so many times that I said yes to having sex when I really didn't want to because I felt guilty. I felt like I had to. I felt like I owed it to my partner to do that. And like this has happened. This has been a pattern for a long time, not just in this relationship. And I'm so happy and so proud. I could actually cry. I might cry. Might cry, you guys. I'm really proud of how far I've come with this and like just how much love I feel in my relationship now with my partner, and just the fact that I've been able to work through this. Oh my God, you guys. I don't want to cry because I want to be able to talk, but how much I have been able to work through this and how much my partner has supported me in it and like given me the autonomy to choose all the time. Oh, you guys. But yeah, this was a really big pattern for me in multiple relationships. And it's something that I learned and realized a couple of years ago, truly at the beginning of my womb awakening journey, like really in 2022, I would say. I started to just awaken to this deep rooted belief that I had within myself and that I knew was from my own experience, but I was also carrying this from my mom, my grandma, so on, like the women who came before me, because that's just been a big thing in society, is that like women are supposed to like give that to men and that we don't necessarily get to have a choice. And of course, it just goes so deep and it truly does break my heart. I could cry again. There's a lot happening in the world right now with so much being released and so much being revealed and so many just like really deep painful things for women. And yeah, it even goes past just like our own beliefs, but even experiences too. And there's just so much tenderness around all of that. And it really is heartbreaking. And yeah, that's just, I mean, this is like one reason why I'm just so fucking passionate about everything that I do and about the work that I do, because it's so life-changing and it doesn't even like, it shifts things for you and it shifts things in your life, but it is going to have the biggest ripple effect on generations to come. I am very emotional now, you guys. Okay, let's see if I can get back to it. But this is like the work of feminine reclamation, and this is the work of like truly loving and honoring and revering yourself. Like, it truly is not bubble baths and face masks. Like, it is doing this like deep work to make sure that you are honoring yourself and your body, because your body is so fucking sacred. And we as women have just been taught the opposite. Like, we've been taught that, or conditioned or imprinted with the fact that like our body is property and that we owe it to a man, and like just all of these different things. So yeah, this work is really, really special and really deep. And I'm just grateful to be able to do it and to just share this with you guys and share my experiences as well. Because again, maybe I already mentioned it, but like, it has changed my life completely. Like, that is why I'm so emotional right now, because I'm finally in a space where all of this is like reflecting out in my external reality. And I'm just so grateful to be able to guide other women on this, because it's so, so needed. Another real life example is reclaiming your desires as a woman. And this can be in truly every aspect of your life. That's been another really big thing, I guess, in my relationship too. And just, I mean, in life in general. I've been with my fiance for almost 6 years. So he's just been a big part of this journey too, but just reclaiming my desires of like, what do I want in a relationship? How do I want to show up for my partner? How do I want my partner to show up for me? Like, what do I desire out of a relationship, or even in business and work? Like, claiming that desire that I had years ago of like, I want my own business, and I know that I am meant to, and I know that I am meant to make a big impact in this world, and claiming that rather than just staying small and being like, oh, like maybe I just stay at my corporate job. It's not that bad. And like everybody else is doing it or whatever. And I think that that's just one of the most powerful and potent things that you can do as a woman, is reclaiming your desire. Whatever that desire is, it can change every single day. There can be different desires every day, big, small, truly whatever. But when you reclaim that, like, you really, again, are in this energy of honoring yourself, of listening to yourself, listening to that feeling within you, listening like to your intuition and following that. And that is such a deep form of self-love. I've mentioned some of the like systemic and societal stuff, but mother wounds and sisterhood wounds are such a big aspect of this too. And so these are both collective wounds that women hold, collective like traumas. And the mother wound really speaks to the fact that we as women are so conditioned to put everybody else's needs above our own and to pour into everybody else before we pour into ourselves. And that leaves us feeling depleted and exhausted. And also just, yeah, that really does mess with our love and adoration and reverence for ourselves, because it puts us in this belief of like, we are not worthy. We are not worthy to put ourselves first. Like, we have to pour into everybody else first. And then of course, sisterhood wounds and just that like competition or comparing yourself to other women or whatever it is. And even just having other women, like I was bullied, you guys. I was bullied as a little girl, and it is so tough. We had this thing called Ask FM. I don't know if anybody else had it. We had it in middle school, and I was having hormonal breakouts, whatever, as a middle schooler should. And my best friend, I knew that it was her, my best friend in middle school, would send a bunch of questions anonymously in mine and talk about like, tell me how gross my acne was and tell me how disgusting my face was and this and that and all of these things. And so of course, like, I developed such a deep insecurity around that, and a deep insecurity around my skin, and just like not loving myself from such a young age. And I've actually been on a really big skin journey since getting off birth control in 2021. And I feel like I'm definitely getting to a place where it is getting figured out. I have makeup on. My slip tint and it looks beautiful now. But I've been on a really big skin journey, but like I still break out, you guys. I still break out. Sometimes I eat like shit and my skin breaks out, and that's that. And I now, if I break out, like I just talk to my skin. I tell my skin, you are still so beautiful, and thank you for detoxing for me, because that's what it is. It's your body trying to like get toxins out. So definitely a big shift there. But yeah, with sisterhood wounds, like being bullied or being compared to other women or all of these things, this can take us out of our own uniqueness and out of our self-love. So with the systemic piece, there's a lot that I honestly could get into, but of course, one is just the societal expectations of women and like how we should look, how we should show up in the world, like how to be palatable, how to be loved, and like just this idea too, this is a big one, you guys, the idea that, or the conditioning that like we need a man to save us. It's that Disney princess type thing of like we aren't whole until a man comes in and saves us. And I'm like, I feel like I could make a whole episode about this and like my relationship. So maybe I'll start doing some of those. I always tell Wes that I am going to have him as a guest. So we'll see. But like Wes has always been so sweet and has always poured so much love into me. But for a lot of our relationship, I wasn't able to feel that love or receive that love because I didn't have that love for myself. And so this idea that we will feel whole and complete and all of these things when we have a partner, that's not to say that you shouldn't have that desire to have a partner. It's the most beautiful fucking thing in the world. But if you don't learn how to love yourself, like you're not going to be able to receive their love either. And you're either going to have to learn it without a partner or with a partner. So you might as well just do it regardless. And our system also just really rewards compliance in women and does not like a woman who speaks up and speaks her truth. And this causes us to just inevitably shove ourselves into a box and like make ourselves become something that we aren't because we're trying to be rewarded by this system. And also just productivity culture and hustle culture has really disconnected us from our cycle and listening to the wisdom of each phase of our cycle. And as I mentioned at the beginning, like how this really does tie into loving yourself and revering yourself. But if we're just little robots, machines moving the same way every single day, like we're not honoring that aspect of ourselves. And then we honestly like feel a lot of, I don't know, like hatred toward that part of ourselves. And especially if you're a woman who, when you get your period, you're like, oh, like not again. This sucks. I hate this time of the month. That is you not loving an aspect of yourself that actually holds a lot of power. I'm going to call you out. And like, there are times too where my period comes around and I'm like I have so much to do, but now I don't have the capacity. But I honor myself and I honor my body. But for the most part, like I love my period now. It's so cool, you guys, when you start to actually work with it and work with transmuting and releasing that energy that is being purged from you. Like your body is literally purifying and cleansing things out. And when you intentionally work with that, like shit shifts fast. I've had some crazy cool experiences. So we'll definitely need an episode on that too. But yeah, when you're just like hating this aspect of yourself, of being a cyclical being, that is you not loving yourself wholly and like not being in your wholeness. So you can't fully love yourself if you're rejecting parts of yourself, or if you are hiding parts of yourself away, or if you are just trying to be somebody that you're not. Like you truly cannot love yourself if that's the case. And I think it's important to know that this truly is a lifelong journey and to just not have shame with that either, because it's okay. And we all get to those spaces. And again, like I've mentioned in this episode, just coming at it with curiosity and just kind of exploring and just noticing in your everyday life, like, where am I holding myself back? Where am I shaming myself? Where am I dimming my light? Where am I hiding myself away? Like all of the things. And also obviously with the womb, like I'm so passionate about it. Like all of this lives within our womb. So much of it lives within our womb. And when you really start to awaken to your womb and live from that space, you start to live from this space of self-love and reverence. And you're able to, again, send love to those parts of yourself that you've been taught to shame and shove down. And a lot of women love the good parts of themselves. Like, it's so easy to love yourself when it's like, okay, I'm having a good hair day. My makeup looks good. I have a cute outfit on. Like, I feel good. So easy to love yourself on those days. But the days where you don't feel so good, or you aren't productive, or you're not looking your hottest, those are the days that you really need to pay attention to how you are treating yourself and like what your inner dialogue is with yourself. And I fall victim to this sometimes too, because I'm a Capricorn, you guys. I love working. Like, I love being productive. And there are days where I'm just not that. I'm not productive, and that's okay. But I do sometimes notice like a shift in how I feel about myself on the days that I'm not as productive. And I'm really leaning into working on that within myself right now, because I'm just like really breaking down those beliefs of like, I am worthy regardless, and I'm allowed to love myself no matter what. And my productivity does not dictate like my worthiness. A lot of women also just try to like transcend the messy aspects of being a woman, and that is just such a big part of being a woman. Like, we are messy, we're chaotic, things get crazy, like, we're cyclical. We are the light feminine and the dark feminine, and like, if we're trying to just transcend those messy aspects, or those aspects that don't feel so good or aren't as palatable, like, we're not going to be in our wholeness, and you're still going to struggle to fully love and accept yourself if you're trying to transcend those aspects of your being. And this goes back to the cycle as well, our luteal phase, our menstrual phase, all of those things. Like, this idea of self-love comes from accepting and loving all aspects of yourself, your being, your experience. And feminine reclamation really is devotion to truth over being palatable. Feminine reclamation is really just honoring your body over performance, and getting to know your body on such a deep, intimate level, and tending to your body in that way. And it's not about becoming more lovable. It's really about refusing to abandon yourself any longer. Okay, you guys, we're going to leave it at that. This is a lot longer than I anticipated, so I appreciate you so much for listening. I cannot wait to hear how it lands, but I do have an announcement for you guys. I am launching a 5-day challenge. I don't like the word challenge though, so I don't know. 5-day situation called Adored. And this is 5 days to deeper self-love and reverence and adoration. And this isn't like that surface level self-love. It really is encapsulating so much of what we spoke about in here. And there will be 5 days, 5 different guided practices of really working with our womb, journeying into our womb. Some of them will be focused around really sending love to those like imprints, to the shame that we hold there. And then other ones will just be more activating in a sense of like really stepping into that like confident, bright, vibrant, feminine energy. And my goal with this is to help you guys to understand like how powerful and potent it is to work with your womb on this path of self-love and adoration, and to just bring more love to those parts of yourself that you have been taught to shove down. We'll be doing a lot around connecting our heart to our womb. We're going to do a mother and sisterhood wound practice, and then some goddess work as well, which I'm really excited for. So it'll be really juicy, but this will be launching on February 13th. So stay tuned for that. And I'll link it in the show notes as well once it is up. But I'm super excited for this, you guys. It's going to be so powerful and so potent. And it is a 5-day thing, but you get access to it forever. So you literally can come back to any of the practices at any point and just use them whenever you feel called to. So I'm super excited. Alrighty, you guys, we're going to leave it there. But thank you so much for listening. I really hope that this episode landed. Thank you guys for letting me sob with you for a minute. I truly appreciate you guys. I appreciate your love and your support, and sending you all of the love because you deserve it.